And finally, Bryan Mbuemo to Manchester United is confirmed, and obviously Matheus Cunha was confirmed at the beginning of the summer transfer window. But what does this mean for United? Because obviously we like to look at, especially as United fans, I should say, the positives in the signings that we just had in Bryan Mbuemo and Matheus Cunha. But there's also a reality to it. So I'm going to go over some positives and some negatives of signing both players. I think between the two signings, Matheus Cunha should fit into the team more seamlessly, especially because he's played in a 3-4-3 system and is going to play in one of those number 10 roles. On top of that, he's obviously already played in the Premier League. He's proven, plays in the same formation. For those two reasons specifically, I think he should fit in better than Bryan Mbuemo. And obviously United last season, first of all, relied too much on Bruno Fernandes to get goals and assists and to create basically anything going forward. And now they've added two players that were in the top 10 when it comes to goals and assists. Matheus Cunha in 10th and Bryan Mbuemo in 3rd. So I think it's safe to say that between Bruno Fernandes, Bryan Mbuemo, and Matheus Cunha, they should not lack goals. They should not lack chances. Which brings me to chances created for last season. Bruno Fernandes, obviously a chance creation machine, led the Premier League, and Mbuemo was 5th. The only bad thing about that is that they both obviously rely on being on the ball. You could look at that as a bad thing. You could look at it as a good thing. I think it's more of a good thing. It's just more of who's going to be creating the chances. And honestly, the fact that they both can score and assist, I think is what makes it really good. And as I'm looking into it, Matheus Cunha ranked 17 with 57 chances created to Bryan Mbuemo's 70 and Bruno Fernandes' 91, which then leads me to expected assists. Mbuemo had 7 assists with an XA, I should say, of 9.3. Fernandes, 10 assists with an XA of 8. And Matheus Cunha had 6 assists with an XA of 5.3. Again, United lacked scoring goals. And Matheus Cunha hopefully is going to bring a lot more of that. He's ranked in the top 8 for shots on target per 90. Shots on target. Anything offensively, the bar is so low for United that anything is an improvement. But getting people who are in the top 10 in some of these stats is insanely good for us. And Mbuemo ranked 29 with 1.1. When it comes to shots per 90 minutes versus on target, Matheus Cunha ranked 3rd with 3.8. So obviously he loves to shoot. And he does have a shot conversion rate of 13.6, which without even looking, I'm going to guess strongly that that's better than any United forward we have. Now, a few negatives about joining the team, and I'm going to say specifically as far as price for Bryan Mbuemo is that there was 2 years on his contract left and United paid 71 million euros or pounds if I'm not mistaken. And although that is a big price tag, when you look at what Madueke went for, what Anthony Elanga went for, I think it is justifiable. And another thing that I will point out is that United couldn't afford to go another season without this kind of player. Simply put, United needed this kind of player. Everyone knows they're desperate, and I heard arguments they should have waited. Even if they didn't extend for the second year that Brentford had the opportunity to do so, it wouldn't make sense for United to wait until next season, which first of all, they would have extended it because they wouldn't let him go for free. But let's just say in a world where they did let him go on a free, United cannot afford to have other teams going for his signature. United needed to get it done this season. But Bryan Mbuemo, Bruno Fernandes, and Matheus Cunha, top 11, with Mbuemo and Fernandes being 1 and 2 for most possession loss in the Premier League last season. Obviously, that's not good. But you also have to consider that they're people who like to be on the ball and they're risk takers. The more of a risk taker you are, the more naturally you're going to have higher stats in losing the ball. Because if you look at the rest of the list, you have Mohamed Salah, you have Alexander-Arnold, Pedro Porro, Kirkes, Morgan Rogers, Cole Palmer, players who like to go forward and take risks, simply put. And with having these kinds of players who might be losing the ball a lot more often than not, Casemiro's going to have a big season, Ugarte's going to have a big season, and obviously the defense and Onana are going to have a pretty good season. One thing that United is going to address, and it's obviously been reported already by Fabrizio Romano, is that they're going for a striker, and they desperately need one because they ranked 16th when it comes to goals. 44 goals last season in 38 matches. Crazy to think that United can lack so much going forward, and getting a new 9 is something they drastically need. Do I think they could probably get away with it this season? No, not really, honestly. I mean, would they score more goals? I do think they would score more than 44. They need someone in the box who's going to finish all of these chances, because now United has 3 chance creating machines. They also like to score, but we need someone in the box that is going to be able to put away all of these chances. And Fabrizio Romano reported that a lot of it does depend on the sales of Jadon Sancho, Alejandro Garnacho, and Marcus Rashford, and Anthony. So I don't know how much United is willing to spend, say they don't sell all of them, or if they get basically dirt money for them, but I don't know who's out there that is affordable, so to speak. I don't foresee United spending more than 50 to 60. If I'm not mistaken, Jadon Sancho is going for 10. Marcus Rashford has a release clause of 40, so that's 50. Let's just say on the low end, United gets 30 each or 20 each for Garnacho and Anthony. Just trying to be conservative here. So that's 40. So what are we at? That's 90 million that they'd get. I don't know who they would get, and I don't know if they would spend all of that money on a striker. I'm sure they're talking with Ruben Amorim about what the budget is and how much they want to spend on a striker versus other positions if they're going to reinforce other positions. I think it's safe to say that Ruben Amorim is prioritizing the attack, because the fact that we've gotten 2 attacking players and now they're prioritizing a striker next tells me that Ruben Amorim thinks that getting the attacking players is what's going to move the needle forward for this team. Are they going to get anyone else after that as far as midfielders or defense? I don't know, but I sure hope so. If there's any other positives or negatives I missed about each player, please put them in the comments down below, because as biased as I want to be and be excited about these 2 signings, which I think will work out for the simple fact that they're unproven, we also can't be naive that each player does come with flaws.